Can President Trump just end birthright citizenship with an executive order? That will eventually be up to the Supreme Court, but clearly there's a really big obstacle: the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. I recently read through the 1866 congressional debates on the amendment to figure out why it says that. The Civil War had just ended, and the 13th Amendment had ended slavery. But its author, Senator Lyman Trumbull, and many of his fellow Republicans worried that black Southerners would continue to be treated like slaves. So Trumbull proposed the Civil Rights Act of 1866 to protect them. One complication was the 1857 Dred Scott decision, in which the Supreme Court had ruled that former slaves and their descendants could not be U.S. citizens and thus weren't guaranteed rights by the Constitution. As part of his Civil Rights Bill, Trumbull set out to address that, first with language stating that all persons of African descent born in the United States were citizens. A day later, he reconsidered and went with more expansive wording: all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power were citizens. Birthright citizenship had been the norm in the U.S. since its founding, and the Dred Scott decision an error, Trumbull argued. He was simply writing the guarantee into law. But just to be sure, Republicans in Congress then decided to put similar protections into the Constitution with the 14th Amendment. They wanted to prevent future attempts to restrict citizenship on the basis of race or ancestry. A few members of Congress and President Andrew Johnson objected that this would make citizens of the children of Chinese workers in the West. Undoubtedly, said Trumbull, he and the majority of his colleagues were fine with this. After that, hostility to non-European immigrants continued to grow, but birthright citizenship held up. In 1898, the Supreme Court ruled that the San Francisco-born son of Chinese immigrants, who themselves weren't eligible for citizenship, was a U.S. citizen entitled to equal protection under the law. In 1982, the court ruled that the U.S.-born children of illegal immigrants were also covered by birthright citizenship. Soon, the Supreme Court will be called on to make its first preliminary ruling on Trump's executive order. It's uncertain how that will play out, but I'm pretty sure what Lyman Trumbull and the majority of his colleagues in 1866 would have to say.